The Nightly Business Report.
Good evening. Tonight, for the first time in its history, Sri Lanka Customs is predicted to generate more than 1.5 trillion rupees in income, setting a new record, with nearly 1.4 trillion rupees received as of yesterday. Despite a rebound in the current season, Sri Lanka is predicted to fall short of its 2023 goal of 2.3 million visitors. Tourism is expected to bring in over $3 billion for the nation. The market showed encouraging momentum on the fourth trading day of the week, with the ASPI and the S&P SL20 both holding on to their gains. The ASPI makes its first crossing of 14,000 points. And following a US inflation report that raised hopes for a Federal Reserve interest rate decrease, Wall Street stocks surged yesterday as a surge in tech firms lifted the Nasdaq past the 20,000 point mark for the first time.
From Studio 24, here's Sanuvi Mudanayaka.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. Sri Lanka Customs is on the brink of a record-breaking achievement, with the department expected to surpass 1.5 trillion rupees in revenue for the first time in its history. Director General Sarath Nonis expressed confidence in meeting the ambitious target set for 2024, noting that over 1.4 trillion rupees has already been collected as of yesterday.
Director General Sarath Nonis expressed confidence in meeting the 2024 revenue target of 1.53 trillion rupees, with over 1.4 trillion rupees already collected. He highlighted that imports of petroleum, cigarettes, steel products and electric appliances have driven the department's strong performance. Nonis acknowledged that the remaining 129 billion rupees target is challenging but achievable, with rice imports expected to provide a crucial boost. The projected revenue marks a significant decrease from last year's 970 billion rupees, reflecting a 46% year-on-year growth. He credited the department's success to strategic planning, technological innovation and transparency. Nonis emphasized that this performance will set a new benchmark for the department. Despite challenges like vehicle import restrictions, the department has made significant strides in revenue collection. He also noted the importance of continued efforts to adapt to changing economic conditions. Nonis concluded by expressing optimism for sustained growth in the coming years.
Sri Lanka is expected to miss its 2023 target of 2.3 million tourist arrivals, despite a recovery in the current season. However, the country is projected to earn over $3 billion from tourism.
Sri Lanka has welcomed 1.85 million tourists by December 8th of last year, up from 1.49 million, but is expected to miss its target of 2.3 million arrivals for this year. Despite this, tourism earnings are projected to surpass $3 billion, with $2.81 billion already generated in the first 11 months. Industry experts believe the country will not reach an additional 450,000 tourists in the remaining days of the year. Tourism is critical to Sri Lanka's recovery from the 2022 economic crisis, which followed the Easter Sunday attacks and the COVID-19 pandemic. The island remains a popular destination, particularly for European and Western tourists during the winter months. However, confusion over the visa process earlier this year may have slowed the recovery. In 2018, tourism earnings peaked at $4.4 billion, contributing 5% to the country's GDP.
Sri Lanka has established a committee to ensure food security and nutritional safety amidst concerns over high import taxes and licensing that keep food prices artificially high. The country imposes unusually high taxes on most foods to benefit farmers, millers and collectors, which impacts the affordability of food for the poor. Rice, for example, is taxed at 65,000 rupees per ton, leading to a retail price of $750 per ton, significantly higher than the global price of $450 to $470. Despite global rice prices falling, Sri Lankan prices have continued to rise due to price controls and supply shortfalls. Additionally, taxes on maize imports, a key ingredient for poultry and dairy production, have driven up protein prices, affecting vulnerable children. Critics argue that these policies exacerbate food insecurity, especially for low-income families. The Chamber of Lankan Entrepreneurs announced I Am the Sri Lankan Entrepreneur 2024, an awards event on the 5th of March 2025, honouring visionary leaders driving Sri Lanka's industries forward.
This year's I Am the Sri Lankan Entrepreneur 2024 Awards, open to applicants across the island, celebrate the nation's entrepreneurial spirit. The event will recognize achievements from provincial to district levels, showcasing the talent shaping Sri Lanka's future business landscape. With over 65 awards in categories like Best Young Entrepreneur, Best Woman Entrepreneur, and Best Entrepreneur of the Year, it promises to highlight remarkable achievements. The evaluation process, overseen by independent panels and Ernst & Young, ensures credibility and transparency. Inspired by COIL's Young Lankans initiative, the awards aim to empower young innovators and nurture the next generation of leaders. For over 25 years, COIL has been at the forefront of promoting entrepreneurship and fostering a thriving business ecosystem. The awards continue COIL's mission to strengthen Sri Lanka's global business competitiveness.
Let's take a short break now. This is Nightly Business Report. Welcome back to the Nightly Business Report. On the fourth trading day of the week, the market displayed positive momentum, with the S&P SL20 continuing to maintain its gains. Along with that, the ASPI recorded a record high of 14,000 points today. The upward trend reflected investor confidence as the indices sustained their growth. For further insights, we speak with Manusha Kandanarachi from First Capital Holdings.
Thank you. The Colombo Bourse reached a new milestone, surpassing the 14,000 mark and closed the trading session at 14,036, gaining 151 points. During today's trading session, the majority of investor attention was focused on banking sector stocks, along with companies in food, beverage and tobacco sector like Lanka Mill Foods, and as well as construction sector stocks such as Jet Holdings, Dip Products and ACL Cables. Notably, positive investor sentiment towards PICME persisted throughout the today's trading session. Additionally, Ceylon Beverage Holdings, Hatton National Bank, Sampath Bank, John Keel's Holdings and Commercial Bank emerged as the top positive contributors to the index. Amidst multiple off-board transactions and increased participation from retail investors, turnover stood at LKR 7.4 billion, marking an increase of 73.4% from the monthly average as well. Moreover, the capital goods sector led the turnover by 24%, followed by banks and material sectors jointly contributing 35% of the overall turnover. The top three gainers of the day were Ceylon Beverage Holdings, Sigiriya Village Hotels and Rambada Falls, while the top three losers of the day were ASPI, Tess Agro and PMF Finance.
The central bank raised 206 billion rupees at yesterday's Treasury bill auction, with all maturities oversubscribed by 2.3 times. Yield rates for 3 months, 6 month and 1 year Treasury bills declined slightly by 4 basis points, 6 basis points and 1 basis point respectively. For further insights, we speak with Anjali Matthews from First Capital Holdings.
Today's bond auction saw increased levels of demand and buying interest on the 2029 maturity, while the 2033 maturity was only partly accepted, as the Central Bank of Sri Lanka raised a total of Rs 130.8 billion, yielding full acceptance across the 2029 maturity, where Rs 77.5 billion was accepted, and the total bids offered were also Rs 77.5 billion. The 15/9/29 bond closed at a weighted average yield rate of 10.75%. And additionally, the 2033 maturity was undersubscribed and only partially accepted, with Rs 53.3 billion being accepted from the total offered amount, which was Rs 55 billion. The 1/6/2033 bond closed at a weighted average yield rate of 11.47%. And additionally, yesterday's secondary market saw continued buying interest throughout the trading day, where it generated moderate volumes. Amongst the traded maturities, notable trades occurred in the 2027, 2028, 2029, 2030 and 2031 maturities.
Gold prices slipped today as investors took profits following a rise to a more than 1 month high, followed by increased expectations of a Federal Reserve interest rate cut next week. Spot gold was changed at $2,717.80 per ounce after earlier reaching its highest level since last month at $2,725.79. US gold futures declined 0.2% to $2,750.70. The profit-taking comes after a strong rally driven by easing inflation concerns and expectations of monetary easing. Despite the dip, gold remains supported by broad economic uncertainty and geopolitical tensions. Analysts continue to monitor the Fed's next moves for further direction on gold's trajectory. Oil prices remain largely steady today as traders weighed a mix of factors, including new US oil sanctions, fresh stimulus measures in China, and a cautious oil demand forecast from OPEC. Brent crude futures edged slightly lower to $73.50 per barrel, while WTI crude dropped 0.1% to $69.79 per barrel. Both contracts set to expire in February had surged more than 2% yesterday. Prices stabilized after a sharp rise in the previous session, driven by expectations of tighter global supplies due to potential US sanctions on Russia. Additionally, gains were supported by signals from China, the world's top importer, of further economic stimulus earlier this week. The Sri Lankan rupee has remained steady against the US dollar today, showing no significant change compared to yesterday. At Commercial Bank, the buying rate of the US dollar has decreased, while the selling rate has also been adjusted downward. Let's now take a look at how the Sri Lankan rupee is performing against other global currencies. A short break now. This is the Nightly Business Report. Welcome back. Lanka Milk Foods PLC's Ambewala Farms had set a record with daily milk production of 62,000 litres, a significant leap from 3,000 litres.
Since taking over the facility in 2001, Lanka Milk Foods PLC's Ambewala Farms has transformed from a modest 3,000 litres of daily milk production to an impressive 62,000 litres. Today, the farm contributes 20 million litres of milk annually to Sri Lanka's national supply. This remarkable growth is the result of years of careful planning, substantial investments and innovative farming practices. A significant milestone was achieved in 2019 with the introduction of automated dairy housing and milking systems, part of a 5 billion rupee modernization initiative. These advancements doubled production capacity within 2 years, elevating the farm to world-class standards. The farm also implemented a cutting-edge breeding program producing high-yielding cows. These genetically superior cows produce 12,000 litres per 305-day lactation cycles. With a focus on herd health and disease prevention, Ambewala Farms continues to lead in dairy production excellence.
Haley's EnergyNet has entered into an exclusive strategic partnership with Hengyang Rita Power Co. Limited, a global leader with 20-plus years of experience in advanced energy storage technology. A subsidiary of Haley's Fentons Limited, Haley's EnergyNet has firmly established itself as a leading provider of UPS and power solutions in Sri Lanka, backed by over 35 years of industry experience. Hengyang Rita Power Co. Limited, a leading energy storage solutions provider, operates 8 strategically located production facilities across China and Vietnam, supported by 11 international storage and logistics centers, ensuring efficient global distribution and service. This strategic collaboration aims to revolutionize Sri Lanka's energy sector by delivering innovative, sustainable and advanced energy solutions tailored to meet the country's growing energy needs. Together, the two companies will provide high-performance energy storage systems with battery capacities ranging ranging from 12 voltage to 7 ampere hours to 200 ampere hours. EnergyNet's product portfolio has been expanded to include advanced lithium batteries and inverters, complementing its existing UPS and battery systems. Union Bank is pleased to announce the appointment of Mr. Mahesh Nanayakkara as the independent non-executive director to its board. With over 30 years of experience in financial services industry, he brings a wealth of knowledge and leadership to the role. Mr. Nanayakkara currently serves as the managing director and CEO of Citizens Development Business Finance PLC, where he led a successful transformation, positioning CDB as one of Sri Lanka's top non-banking financial institutions. His dedication to social causes is reflected in his involvement in the establishment of Autism Trust Fund, which raises awareness and supports early intervention for autism in Sri Lanka. Mr. Nanayakkara holds a BSc in Business Administration and an MBA from the Postgraduate Institute of Management, University of Sri Jayawardhanapura. He is also a Fellow of the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants and has completed executive training at prestigious institutions such as Harvard Business School and the University of Cambridge. Sri Lanka's rich natural heritage is being celebrated as SLT Mobitel proudly unveils the 2025 team, Dragonflies of Sri Lanka. This initiative highlights the fascinating world of dragonflies, showcasing the country's diverse biodiversity and its commitment to environmental awareness.
SLT Mobitel has proudly unveiled the 2025 calendar themed Dragonflies of Sri Lanka, which celebrates the captivating world of dragonflies. The calendar highlights the ecological significance of these vibrant insects, emphasizing their crucial role in sustaining healthy ecosystems across the country. Dragonflies, known for their striking beauty, are not only essential to biodiversity, but also serve as indicators of environmental health. This initiative aligns with Sri Lanka's long-standing tradition of celebrating its rich natural heritage. By focusing on dragonflies, SLT Mobitel aims to raise awareness about the importance of preserving the country's unique wildlife. This campaign is a step towards fostering greater environmental consciousness among the public. SLT Mobitel hopes this initiative will inspire individuals to take proactive steps in protecting Sri Lanka's biodiversity. The company remains committed to supporting sustainable efforts for a greener future.
Exterminators PLC, Sri Lanka's leading pest management and Digitech environmental enhancement company, won gold at the Sri Lanka Entrepreneur Awards on the 11th of December. Organised by the National Chamber of Commerce of Sri Lanka and the National Enterprise Development Authority, the event took place at the BMICH in Colombo. The awards recognised excellence in areas like financial performance, innovation, employment generation, productivity and corporate social responsibility. The rigorous selection process included preliminary screenings, interviews and field visits to ensure transparency and fairness. This gold award is Exterminators PLC's 67th, highlighting its achievements in business excellence, environmental leadership and corporate governance. The recognition underscores the company's transformative impact on pest management practices locally and regionally. Let's take a short commercial break. Global business updates coming on the other side. This is the Nightly Business Report. Welcome back to the Nightly Business Report. Asian stocks saw gains today following a tech-led rally on Wall Street after US consumer inflation came in as expected, boosting expectations of a Federal Reserve interest rate cut next week. Japan's Nikkei surged above 40,000 for the first time since mid-October, driven by strong performance in the chip sector and a weaker yen, as traders reduced bets on Bank of Japan rate hike. South Korea's Kospi jumped 1.8%, while Taiwan's benchmark rose 0.6%. Hong Kong's Hang Seng climbed 1.8% and mainland blue chip stocks were up by 1%. Wall Street stocks jumped yesterday as a rally in tech stocks boosted the Nasdaq above the 20,000-point milestone for the first time, after a US inflation report boosted expectations of a Federal Reserve interest rate cut.
The Nasdaq topped 20,000 for the first time during Wednesday's trading session, gaining nearly 2% from its Tuesday close. Credit technology stocks for the push to the record level as they continue to rally on hopes of looser regulation under Donald Trump's presidency and bets on AI-fueled earnings growth in the coming quarters. The index has skyrocketed more than 33% this year, outpacing the Dow Jones Industrial Average and the S&P 500. Tech mega caps Nvidia, Microsoft, and Apple, which are worth more than $3 trillion each, have been major contributors to helping the Nasdaq reach the milestone. The index hit 19,000 points for the first time in early November, when Donald Trump secured victory in the U.S. presidential election and his Republican Party swept both houses of Congress.
Albertsons and Kroger terminated their $25 billion merger plan after courts blocked the deal, with the former suing its rival and alleging a breach of contract that led to the deal's demise.
Grocery chains Albertsons and Kroger have terminated their merger plans after a court blocked the deal, and that seems to have left some bad blood between the pair. On Wednesday, Albertsons said it was suing Kroger for billions of dollars in damages. It also wants a $600 million termination fee. Albertsons says its would-be partner failed to take any and all actions to get the deal approved. It says the firm should have shown more willingness to sell off assets to mollify regulators. Kroger called the claims baseless and said it would defend itself in court. In a statement, it said it was Albertsons that was guilty of multiple breaches of the merger agreement. Two different courts blocked the deal on Tuesday, siding with federal and state watchdogs who said it would be bad for competition. A combined firm would have been the second biggest grocery chain in the U.S., with a market share of about 11%. One analyst said the deal's collapse is actually a loss for the consumer, as it leaves no firm able to challenge the mighty Walmart. It's the top player in the market with a 17% share. But the deal had become a symbol for the rising cost of living in the U.S. and faced fierce opposition from regulators who claimed it could drive shopping bills yet higher. Food prices in the country are up 25% over the past 4 years and were a major issue in the presidential election.
That's all from us on the Nightly Business Report for today. We'll see you again tomorrow with the latest updates in the business globe. Until then, I'm Sri Lanka. Thank you for watching and have a good night.